Hi everyone, I'm just hopping on for a really impromptu, spur of the moment Facebook Live. I had planned to do some other things today, but it is a snowy day and a good day just to stay home and craft. So I started to get some things ready for a future Facebook Live, and I thought, oh, why don't I just do it right now? And maybe you're looking for something to do as well. So what I am going to be talking about today is how to transform your basic gift bag and change it into something else. And I'm going to show two examples today. We're going to start with a white one. And this would look really good even on, I'm just going to raise this up. It would look good even on a craft colored one or something like that too. But I happen to have a white, pardon me, a white one, and that's what we're going with. Just making sure I'm actually playing somewhere. I'm not sure. There we go. So what I wanted to do is how can I make this just kind of fun for Christmas? And so I thought, well, it's white and snowmen are white, right? So maybe I could turn this into a snowman. So I brought some of my circle dies, and I ended up using my Stylish Shapes dies. So the Stylish Shapes dies, I just find they're often what I reach for anymore, because there are squares, there are circles, and then there are the banner shapes. So I took some of the circles and I thought, well, a snowman needs eyes. What if I put those on for eyes? And well, that looked a little big. Maybe I should switch it down to this. That's not bad. Or what about this? Oh, that might be even better. And well, if I do that, then I could use this size here for the mouth. And that's basically how I started. All right. So then I went and I cut a whole bunch of circles out of basic black and then just started to arrange them. So I've got, let's move these out of the way. So if I put these two here and these here, let's see, we could kind of make it a smile. Do we want just one of these here? We could do that. It looks a little bit funny. That, I think we're going to go with two here and go like that. Okay, so that I'm on the right track, but we need a nose. So what I did then, so those were the two smallest from here. So if you have punches or if you have other circles, you can substitute with whatever you want. So we need a nose. Now I could freehand cut a nose out of pumpkin pie paper, but I'm not very good at freehand. So if I can find a die or a punch that's going to work, that works better for me. So I looked through the dies that I have, and I ended up looking at the tulips dies. And in the tulips dies, one of the leaves is this one right here. And I thought, I think that could be a nose if I do a little amputation there. So I cut one out, and here it is right here. So let's see, let's move this out of the way right now, and we're going to do a little sponging and things like that just to make it look a little more realistic. So I'm bringing in my pumpkin pie ink. Well, first of all, I better do something with this end here, right? So I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of round it off like that. Doesn't matter if it looks a little rough around the edges because, well, it is a carrot, right? So it really doesn't matter. And so let's see. And we'll just sponge around the edges to add a little bit of depth and definition like that. There we go. We'll close this up. And Now, if you have something that makes white marks, if you, this is retired, it's the Stampin' Chalk marker. You might have a white gel pen, a white Sharpie, but if you have something that makes white marks, you could just go 1, 2, 3, just make it. Otherwise, you could maybe use your pumpkin pie marker or whatever. Just substitute whatever you have, that will work. And let's take a look-see at our bag now. If we put that there, ooh, I think we're on the right track. So let's start fastening things down. For some reason, I can't see the comments, but I do know that some of you are on, so that's perfect. And you can see that when I was planning this, I added a bit of a white mark there, and we'll go through and do that on the others too. So now we've got 2 eyes. I'm going to save the nose to last, just in case I have to adjust the placement. So we've got that, just like that. And like that. So you could tell me what the weather is like where you're watching from. And if you are having miserable weather, what you like to do when the weather's not the nicest. So what's the weather like where you're at? And what do you like to do when the weather's not the best? So there we go. And we're going to add the nose. Just like that. And there, we have turned a plain white bag into a snowman. So let's bring in the white again and just give everything a little bit of definition. And look at that. We've got it just like that. Now, we need a tag to go with this, right? So let's put that to the side. And I have here just a black tag cut from with one of the TaylorMade tags. So I have used the largest one here, this one right here, to cut that out. And I have brought in this little bundle here that is so neat. So it's Snowman Magic, which really fits with this. And so we're going to use the words. It's the most magical time of the year, and the snowman and a few other things. And then there are these great dies. So let's just see where we're going to go with this. Now, these are photopolymer stamps. So I'm bringing in a bit of a cushion for my stamping, and we will use our Versamark. Now, if you're like me and you forget to use your embossing buddy, this has worked for me. I keep them stored together, and it's made me much more successful in remembering to use it. So let's ink up the words. It's the most magical time of the year. There we go. Now, Versamark, remember, is a clear ink. It's a watermark ink, but it's also a sticky ink, so we can emboss it. So you might not be seeing anything much happening right now because it's hard to see in real life. It's hard enough to see when you're right here. There we go. So we've got that there. We got the little snowman. Then we have to give him a face. And boy, there. Let's hope I've hit the right spot for the face. I stamped one earlier just in case I goof up here. And because it's photopolymer, I can even put the little arms on and see where to put them if I'm not looking through here. There we go. I think we've got everything. I don't know if you can see that it's there. We'll move this out of the way and bring white embossing powder in, and we'll see how successful we've been. So, well, somebody's got sunshine. That's you, lucky person. I'm sure we'll have it again. We had sunshine yesterday, and that was lovely. So what I'm doing is I'm just bringing a fine little paintbrush in to get some of the spots that where the powder stuck where I didn't want it. There we go. And now we're going to bring the heat tool in and heat that up. I had a class the other night and we did a lot of heat embossing, and they discovered that when the heat tool is all hot, it really works quickly. It makes a big difference once it's been heated up all right. So let's just see. Once it starts to heat up, you'll see it start to change and get shiny, so that powder melts and gets all nice and shiny and adds a bit of dimension. And I need my tweezers. Where did I put them? Over here. That's where I put them. There we go. I love these new tweezers. So I think we're just about done. When I am embossing, I always stop and sort of I'll change it around so the light hits, because if it looks powdery somewhere, it needs another little blast of the heat just to finish melting it. Sometimes you can miss an area, but I think that looks pretty good. So we'll put that down, and I should bring in some grid paper so you can see it. So now we've got it looking like that. Now we need a little hat and a scarf, and we have dies for that. So I brought in the festive foils. These might be a bit of a sleeper in the mini catalog. Let me just grab the mini catalog, and if you look in the index of the mini catalog, you will see right here festive foils, and they are really pretty paper, one-sided. They've got that interest on it like that. You can see it on page 31. So let's look at page 31. I love this index. And you can see it a little more fully there. But again, it's so hard with designer paper to show show it fully. So we were using this the other night in my stamp club, making these cards here, and they just loved it, and they were all so impressed with the paper. So you can see how it just catches the highlights. And then on the inside, mine's right here, we just use little scraps to decorate the top. So that was that, but let's get back to what we're doing. So what I did is I cut a hat out of the soft succulent, and then a scarf out of the cherry cobbler. So we'll bring those pieces in. That's the neat thing about that snowman set. It has all little pieces to use for whatever. So let's add the scarf first. Just a little bit of adhesive here. There we go. I need my take your pick tool. I asked in my group today, what is your must-have tool? And when I tried to answer it, I have a whole bunch of must-have tools, but one was my take your pick tool. So what is your must-have tool if in your stamping supplies, your crafting supplies? So then we're going to put the little hat on. I think we could put him on a dimensional. I have a little mini black one here, so that'll work perfectly. Put that there. And let's see. He's pretty close to the words. Yeah, it has to go here. I maybe could have put him a little lower down, or the words a little higher. But, oh no, we have to be able to see year. So there we go. Oh, do you know what? I am going to put the hat up here and make it look like he's just throwing it in the air. There, that's what we'll do. You can always ad-lib. That's the crafter's prerogative, right? And I think we could put a jewel there just to finish it off, because our basic rhinestones do look a little bit like snow. So we'll put one right there, and we'll put one on the hat. Now, you might be saying, well, how are you ever going to, and we'll put one on the snowflake. There we go. How are we ever going to write on that? Well, I decided that what we could do was to bring in a white one, and we're just sort of tie them together, and then they can loop on the bag. But we've got some fun stamps here, so let's do a little more stamping here. So in that same stamp set, I better bring my sponge back in. There's holly and there's trees. So I thought I would bring in the shaded spruce and just add those. I think I'm going to stamp off once so they're not dark, but they're there. There we go. We've got the trees and we've got the holly. And we'll put the holly up here. And then we can do our writing in here. We could always color that holly if we wanted. And, well, maybe we should do that. So let's just bring in our marker. Make sure this one's working. And you could add red rhinestones to this, or the little red pearls that are so pretty in the festive pearl set or whatever, but that's going to be good for now. So now we're going to fasten these two together. I'm going to use the black gingham ribbon. I should have kept that paper here. There we go. So the black gingham ribbon, I'm just going to fold it in half, maybe a little bit more. I am just guessing at how much I want here, so we'll see if I am correct. So I'm going to feed this through. I'm folding it in half, and the folded piece, I'm putting that through the two holes. Then opening that fold up, putting my ends through it. Now we had the discussion the other night, do you go from the front or from the back? And I don't think it matters. But then it'll be like that, and we can just fasten it onto our bag. Better put that away. So let's tie it onto our bag. Just like this. And just like that, we have transformed a plain white bag into a snowman. It's hard to get it in the picture, but you get the idea there. So what about if you had a red bag? Oh, before I get rid of this, I wanted to share a card that we made in a recent workshop using that snowman. So there's this lovely frame that comes, and so we made this, we sponged on the inside, and then this would be for the inside of the card here. There's even a little bunny in there. So just so much fun with that stamp set. So I'm going to put that to the side, and let's bring in a red bag. And for some reason, my computer is not letting me know who's here. So I hope you're talking to each other, because for some reason, it's not letting me see your comments. I think I hit the wrong button, likely. Because obviously, oh, there I am. I'm there now, so yay. So I thought that a red bag looked like Santa's suit for me. So then I started to think, what could I do? So I thought I'd share my thought process with you. So I took some scrap paper. I always keep a stack of scrap computer paper. And I started to play around. And I thought, well, the white could be... and it will depend on your bag, so you're going to adjust the measurements. I thought the white could be 3 by 10.5. Now I see it might need to be trimmed a little bit, but that's what we're going to start with. So there we've got that coming down there. Now the belt, I thought could be 2 by 7 and 7/8 because that's how wide the bag is. Now you notice I crossed that out and put something else there, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. And then the buckle, I thought I got played around and I ended up thinking, okay, that 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 looks pretty good. And then I wanted to show a bit of the belt here, and so I put 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 there, and then I would put some circles there for the buttons. So that's how I played around. I go through a fair amount of scrap paper in my planning, and I start to scratch out numbers and change measurements until it looks good to my eyes. So that would be a way that you could go through, do it too. And what we're going to do here with the snowman and with this, you could adapt it to a card. The bag is just like a big card, right? You would just have to make everything a little smaller. So therefore, again, bring your scrap paper out and play around a little bit. So for this piece right here, 3 by 10 1/2, I thought, ooh, I could use white cardstock. And then I thought, I could use white glimmer paper, but I was kind of out of white glimmer paper, so that wasn't, I couldn't do that. What other specialty papers do we have in the catalog? And I was looking, and I looked over here, and we have the snowy white velvet sheets. And sometimes I have to look at here to just to remember what I have and what could be used. So the snowy white velvet sheets are 12 by 12. They would be nice and textured. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go with the snowy white velvet sheets. And then I got thinking, what if I added scallops here? How could I do that? I'm not going to freehand cut it. So then I looked through my dies, and when I found the scalloped contours, and we have this right here in there. So I decided to give it a little scallop. So you might say, but it's way shorter, and it is. So I did one side, but I saved one side to do with you. So let me just bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. You can see that I need a new plate there. It's pretty wild. So I'm going to do this side here. And what I did was see if you can see it. I just, a smidge is over the top, and the rest are right up to the edge. Not hanging over the edge, but I used the edge as a way of lining it up, and I'm using some washi tape. You could use any removable tape or post-it notes or whatever, just to hold it in place. And we will run that through, and then I'll show how to make it longer. And this you can do with other dies, not just the scallop. There we go. So we'll bring it back here and peel this off. With washi tape, you always peel gently, any of your adhesive tapes, and I find if you pull it at a little bit of an angle, it also works better. So now it is like that, but we have this here as well. So what I'm going to do is slide this in, and I'm going to take this part here, put it over here, and if you wiggle it around, you can kind of feel it pop into place. It's there. So we're going to, whoops, I got it out of place again. So, of course, I'm on camera, so it's a little bit more difficult to do, right? You guys are all watching me, but we'll pretend anyway that I've got it in place. And if it looks kind of goofy, we will put the buckle over top of it. There's always a way of fixing things, right? And we'll run that through. You can see by the other side that it does work if I don't have an audience. And I've got so much junk on my desk here, having a little collision course. Well, it's not junk, it's stamps and precious stuff. There we go. So we'll put that down. peel this off. And I wish you could feel this because it's nice and velvety. And, well, there we go. Look at that. We look like pros. So we'll put that to the side for the minute. And so now we've got this. So let's start with fastening that down the front. Now it looks like, oh, you know, it's going to be pretty close. I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I am liable to cut it too short. So I think it's close enough. And we're just going to, you can use whatever adhesive you want. The liquid glue just gives you that wiggle room. And I've come from being a person who didn't like to use it to is actually my adhesive of choice. What is your adhesive of choice? What adhesive do you like to use? Or are you like me and it kind of varies? Whoops, I think I've got this a tad crooked. So it's a good thing it hadn't dried yet. There we go. So now we have this going down the front. Now, remember that I said I had wanted to do 2 inches by 7 and whatever I said, 7 and where's my piece of paper? 7 and 7/8, because that's what this is here. So your ruler is your friend here, right? So, but I got thinking, wouldn't it be nice if it was shiny? So do you know how to turn your paper shiny? There is a trick. So you can do it, bring in your packing tape. And the reason now I put it down to 1 7/8, and I might even do it 1 1/2, is because my packing tape is 1 7/8. So now I'm starting to plan it around the size of my packing tape. And I'm just going to take my packing tape and try to get it straight. And again, whoa, I got it really crooked, but I actually have one done for you so that you can see. But I just wanted to share with you how I did it. And it's much easier when you can get your head right over the, right over your paper. But see, now we have shiny paper. So it looks more like a shiny belt, right? So let's put that to the side. Then I got to thinking, well, see, this is, well, maybe it would look good with some texture. So I brought in an embossing folder, which I think I've just buried somewhere. Here it is. So I brought in the painted texture embossing folder. You could bring in whatever one you wanted. And now look at what I've got here. I've got a shiny textured belt. So let's put that along here. So let's add our adhesive. So it's shiny on one side and it's just your regular cardstock on the other. So it should stick just normally. And now this is where I'm going to use my grid. So to help me make sure I get it on straight. Get my instructions out of the way. Where do I want it? I think I want it about there. So it is lined up. I'm using my grid paper here and my grid paper there and fastening it down. Marilyn, you love the packing tape idea. Well, you use it too. I've seen you use it. It really adds a whole other element, doesn't it? So there, I'm just giving it a good push. In fact, I'm going to turn it over and then I can really give it a push like that. So now we've got it like that. Then I thought, well, a buckle needs to look metallic, right? So I brought out my brushed metallic paper. So the brushed metallic comes with the 3 different shades. And I chose to go with this shade here. And I've had many people say, where do you find that in the catalog? So it is, here's where the embellishments start. And window sheets and your thick basic white and your vellum and all of that is here, as well as some neat packaging. If you back up one page, here is the brushed metallic right here. And this is a lot of your specialty papers. This Distress Gold is gorgeous stuff too. So it is right after your Memories and More stuff, which is right after your designer paper. So it's a really neat page to spend some time getting acquainted with. There's glimmer paper on there and all kinds of stuff. So remember when I was playing, I thought, oh, I think I would like the buckle about this size. And then I thought, well, what if I bring back my Stylish Shapes? Would one of these squares work? So you can just cut with your paper trimmer if you want, or look at this. I think that would be about the right size. So I cut that ahead of time so that you wouldn't have to watch me die cut that. So we're going to do that. And let me see, should we put it on dimensionals? I think we should. So let's bring in our dimensionals and we will add that to the front of our bag. And you might say, well, this is taking a bit of time. But once you've made one, and you don't have Lillian talking at you all the time, this would come together really quickly, and you could make a lot of these quite quickly, I think. So let's put this here. I'm just resting it to see if I've got it straight and centered and all of that. There we go. And then I thought, well, would that one be good for it there? Well, maybe. So I use my dies and stamps and just place them down to try to make my planning. And I have that already cut out for you right here, just like magic. So we'll put that right down, and I'm actually going to use my seal on that. And why am I doing that is I often find if I use liquid glue, I think it's me, but if I use liquid glue on foil, I make a mess. So I do like to use a dry glue on my foils. And I just like it. So that's just me. So there we've got it like that. Look at how it's coming together. So now we just need our buttons. So I went looking here and I decided that this size would likely work well. And I cut some out. And when I did my paper here, there was extra. So we've got shiny buttons as well. So I've already got them cut out for you. And just like that, we can put them on, and why not use dimensionals for those too, right? So let's put dimensionals on those. Now, when I am putting things that I might want to have centered, I will do the top one and the bottom one, and then do the center one, and then I can get my spacing a little bit better. And then just like that, we have a Santa bag. I'll turn it sideways so you can see it better. So isn't that cute? But it needs a tag, right? So let's see what we can do for a tag there. So let's clear a little bit of space. And I thought we would bring in the ovals from the new festive, where are they? Here they are. The framed florets. So you've been seeing me talk about these. I've been having lots of fun with them. We're bringing in this oval here. It's from this one right here. So remember, this cuts out these two pieces. So we're using this oval here, and then we're using this oval here. So this piece here cuts out this and this. So we're using these two ovals. So that's where I'm getting the pieces from. So that's the framed florets. And that is part of this bundle, but we're going to use the Christmas set that comes with that. And the Christmas set that comes with that is called Framed and Festive. And I thought 'Tis This Season to Be Jolly worked perfectly with Santa's outfit here. So we're going to stamp on the black. So, oh, I've already got it mounted. What am I doing here? So there we go. And we'll go like that. Use our Versamark. And it just fits beautifully. These words are all designed with these fun fonts. And then they fit on the ovals for sure. That's what they were designed for. So we're going to bring in this, and we'll heat emboss that. I was actually supposed to be doing a ton of other things today, and I got sidetracked with this. So those of you who know me know that sometimes I just get sidetracked. And this idea has been in my head for a while, and I just decided to go for it. So thank you for joining me, spur of the moment. And Logan's watching it too, Linda. Welcome. Logan, we're so glad you're here. Thank you. You're going to have to get your grandma to make some of this stuff with you. So there we go. We've got it like that. Now we could add embellishments or whatever, but I'm just going to put the lid on my embossing powder first off. And secondly, just remind you of all the good things that are in this set. From Our Home to Yours, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Look at them all. From All of Us. Just fabulous words in there. But then I thought, well, once again, oops, see all that powder? Usually I'd have a rag or a cloth, but I'm going to use my shirt right now and just wipe it off on my shirt. There we go. But you're going to need something to write on, right? So if we put it on the larger white one and then we fasten it to the bag, it will definitely be able to have an area to write on right there. And just like on the snowman one, you can decorate the back of the tag too. I just forgot to even think about that. So you're going to have to come up with something for that yourselves. And just one moment while I get a hole punch. We're going to punch a little hole through that. Just like that. And again, bring in our ribbon. And about that much, which would be maybe 14 inches. So where did I put my ribbon scissors? Here they are. And again, we're going to fold it in half, feed it through, pull it through the little loop. So now we've got it like that. And we can just tie it onto our bag with a pretty little bow. And I can play with that later. And we've got our gorgeous festive pearls. Now the festive pearls, they come in all these different colors. And I think just a little dot of red here might, maybe a couple of dots of red, really add to this. There, we'll just go like that. I might decide to rearrange those a little bit afterwards, but you get the idea. So fix the bow up. So there we have. Oh, Logan, you think it looks good? Excellent. I am so glad you like it. So there is the Santa bag. And here is the snowman bag. So here's the question for you. Which one do you like better? I am going to put this even higher up. You're going to see much more of my messy desk, but you'll see much more of the bags too. So which one do you think, or can you see yourself using the most? Snowman or Santa? And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to leave me that comment too. And regardless, whichever channel you're watching on, if it's on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, please, and the thumbs up. And if you're watching on Facebook, I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up as well. And even just make a comment and say hi or whatever. Then I know that I'm not talking into a vacuum, right? So Logan likes Santa. Excellent. So I see somebody else likes Santa. So I hope that gives you some ideas of what you can do and how you can go about your planning process. So I didn't even figure out how to wind this up today. So I think I will just say thank you so much for joining me, and have fun no matter what the weather's doing where you are. Take care. Bye-bye.